congratulations for getting a show into this year's comedy festival.
Thank you.
So your show is a show with a little bit of a difference. Tell us a little bit about the show that you are involved with.
Mm-hmm. So I am the producer and the director of Sri Lankan Fireteam, The Power of Song, which is a comedy musical on at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival, which is certainly a choice I've made as something to produce compared to the slew of stand-up. It's been interesting. We have like a full 5-person cast, and the premise has 4 of these elite firefighters essentially coming in from around the world in this fictional universe to counter a string of suspicious fires that have been started in the small island nation of Sri Lanka, which is in itself an absurd premise because it's a tropical, very humid nation, and fire starting there is not very sensical either.
Yeah. So how did the idea for this show first come about for you?
My goodness. It actually came about a very, very long time ago, as honestly like a complete piss take of a kind of bit of banter between me and a friend. We were essentially just trying to come up with the most absurd premise possible, never intending to like pitch this or put it up anywhere. And it like originated from just being like, hey, there's no firefighter dramas on TV like there are like police procedurals and medical dramas. And then from that it became there's not enough TV musicals. And then me and my mate were like, there's not enough things set in Sri Lanka, let's set it in Sri Lanka. And then from there the joke became, even if you set something in like a kind of more diverse location, you obviously can't have diverse characters in it, which is why the idea of having them all come from around the world. And in this version of the show, they're all kind of stereotypically white characters.
Yeah.
So they all come from around the world, and I think the irony of the situation and kind of the fun we're poking at, kind of a lot of contemporary media that tends to set themselves in more kind of exotic locations is that we have these white everyman protagonists.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the original version of the show had we did it at uni as like a student festival show. And like naturally I went through an acting course and everyone there was very Caucasian. And since then, coming out into the real world and kind of pitching it for the stage and for like laymen and everyday people to come, I went through kind of a bit of an anxiety as a POC creator. So what I essentially did was I brought on the shtick of essentially they're all white characters still, but what we've dubbed as brown washed the cast.
Yeah.
I was stereotypes being played as by brown actors. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that because you were just talking about them being white characters, but I was looking at a photo of the cast, and I was almost going to ask, did I get sent the wrong photo?
No. I mean, like honestly, it originated from a point of like because I went through a bit of guilt as a creator because it was like we're making commentary, which is valid, but also I've seen a lot of commentary, and that would have been it if I cast a bunch of white actors. But a bit of commentary that perpetuates the very same thing it's criticizing.
Yeah, definitely. So how long did it take for the show to actually come together? You mentioned that it was an idea that came about a long time ago and that you put it together as a uni show originally. So how long did it actually take for you guys to sit down and write the show, especially with the music and everything?
My goodness, I can't remember back then. So the original version was just like a 20-minute slot.
Yep.
So this version for comedy festivals has been expanded and really added a lot onto so it's obviously an hour now. I do not remember what the process was like originally, but even that was, I think, just a couple of months of kind of writing to stage, which is relatively easy for a 20-minute production.
Yep.
But this version, so I'm not of a musical theatre background myself, and for this version of the show, my original co-creator has left to do some other things. But we have an amazing brand new musical director, Hayden Dunn, who's come on board, who like accompanies impromptunes and has done a lot of amazing work, and has MD'd and kind of composed a lot of his own stuff. And he came on board and he's pretty much penned most of the music, with help from me and my co-writer, Malith Wijayawardhana, for the lyrics. And her and I wrote most of the rest of the stuff, all the scenes and everything. over the course of really, again, a couple of months.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what the last 12 months has been like for you, because I know a lot of the people I've spoken to at the festival this year have said that the last 12 months has been an absolute nightmare because of COVID and with the lockdowns. How difficult was it for you guys to actually rehearse for this show and to get ready for the comedy festival?
We actually pitched this show and we were going to go on, and we got cancelled at the very last minute for the comedy festival last year, in 2020. And that's when most of the kind of writing and the workshopping and a lot of the rehearsal was done. And then this time around, we replaced a couple of cast members and pretty much just polished it up. And really, it was in the last couple of months, so, thankfully we did have quite a bit of easing of restrictions in that time, and we were able to meet up for the majority of the rehearsals, which was invaluable, rehearsing a musical.
Yeah. You mentioned the cast there and that you had to replace a couple of members. How did you go about putting this cast together? Were they all people that you already knew, or did you have to go and do cold auditions?
It was all audition, which is we're very thankful for, that we actually got some, immensely talented people. But to be honest, the reason we had to audition, I think I've come out of an acting university, and have a bunch of contacts through there. But as I said, my experience going through the acting game, through at least further study at uni, was that I was one of 3 or 4 people of color across 3 year levels.
Yeah.
So in terms of my personal network, I didn't have a whole heap of people we could approach, and I knew that I wanted to run this shtick of making it a brown washed cast. So that did involve reaching out and finding new, fresh faces.
Yeah. And how are you finding your role of director? Are you finding it something that you really enjoy and that you would like to pursue down the track?
Yeah, definitely. I think directing is something that I've settled into a lot, especially having such a broad background and acting a lot. And I found myself drawing on a lot of techniques and kind of words of wisdom from old teachers. So that's been nice to kind of pass on to some other folks, some other young, talented actors. I think one thing I wouldn't do is produce and direct at the same time again.
Yeah.
That has been a time.
Yeah. Now, for all our listeners out there who are thinking about heading along to check out Sri Lankan Fireteam, The Power of Song, it is on from the 12th to the 18th of April at the Butterfly Club. You can grab your tickets from www.thebutterflyclub.com. There will be a link on our show's website as well where you can grab tickets from. And also, if you're listening to this on the podcast, just go to underneath, exactly in the same spot where you found the podcast, and that link will be there as well. Malith, I guess to finish up, what would you like to say to our listeners out there who are thinking about heading along to check out this show?
Well, please do. First of all, you're going to be supporting a bunch of young POC actors. For a lot of you, see something a little bit different. And of course, even if you don't see us, go check out some stuff at the Comedy Festival. There's a lot of great stuff going on, and a whole full week. A lot of young up-and-coming stand-ups. A lot of great stuff to see. So, don't miss out.
Definitely. Head along. As you know, guys, we've been having so much fun at the Comedy Festival this year. So head along and check out this amazing show. And once again, all the ticket information is there up on our website. Malith, thank you so much for chatting to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Not a problem, mate. I'll let you go. Have a great day. And hopefully we get to talk in the future when you've got another project going as well.
Great. Thanks.
Awesome, mate. Bye.